Welcome to the Kilo Bravo Delta Zone podcast broadcast. My name is Keith B. Dixon, commercial photographer, all day, every day. This is where we talk about the photography business, the industry, inspiration, motivation, I don't know, whatever I'm feeling. I guess we're going to talk about it based on my experiences. Let's go. Okay, let's dive into this. Today I'm going to be talking about progression or progress. Progress is going to pull you through a lot of situations in life if you let it. That's the key. If you let it, it's a lot different than success. And I'm going to contrast those two words, contrast success and progression, so that you understand why I'm saying the things that I'm saying. So let's start with success, for instance. When we think of success, oftentimes it is the pinnacle of something. It could be work. It could be a hobby. Maybe you're successful in your hobby. Maybe you're successful in your finances. Whatever it is you're successful at, it becomes the pinnacle of something. Now, if you really think about success, there's rarely any clues to it. What happened before this person became, or this situation became successful? Where's the evidence? Now, people can show you financial documents, they can show you awards, whatever the case may be, but what about the progress? What about the progression? What about the trail? What about the processes that led up to that? Where are those? And that's why I believe that progression is far more valuable. Matter of fact, successes are nothing more than a bunch of crumbs on the trail to progression. It's nothing more than a bunch of successes on a path. And I like that. That's why I call it a crumb trail. It's nothing more than a bunch of crumbs. And let me use an example. Back in 2015, I was ranked number 3 in the world as an influencer in the cloud space. So if you use the hashtag cloud, I was an influencer in that space, cloud-based storage for Netgear. I was ranked in the world alongside 2 other influencers who work for Dell and IBM. It was a big accomplishment. It was one of my biggest social media successes ever. It's now gone. It's now gone. Could I have continued that? Absolutely. But I saw it more as a progress. This is a progress leading somewhere. I'm going to call it even, let me dumb it down to calling it a trophy. It was a trophy. It was something that I'd done and I moved on from. Let me go do something else. Exposure 101 Photography Conference. I co-created that, and I co-created it in a space where I knew no one except for a few people. Knew a few people there in Detroit, and we got together. We created this conference. It grew, and we had this great 2-year run. And after that, I thought, okay, this has been a success. It's been great. Let me table this right here. This is where it stops, because I want people to always remember the greatness. And that's what success is really about. The progression is all these things together. Being a photographer for 23 years, going through a crowd of a sea of photographers and being seen, getting my social media following on Twitter up to, I think at one point it was 51,000 followers, growing my social media channel that big, 19 million hearts on Periscope. That's abnormal. Developing the Bomb Squad community. Those are all successes on the trail to progression. It doesn't, not one of those things can define me if I let it become a success, but it doesn't. All of those things define the progression that I've been able to make. And that's what I want you to see, so that you don't develop what I call tunnel vision based on something you may have done. I want you to know that there's more to you than that one success. Let me use an example. If you go back and you look at most artists, they will produce one hit, most. 1% or less will produce one great hit. And that's it. They'll go away. Is that success? Yeah, we can call it success. A person will win the lottery one time. Is that success? Absolutely. They will never do it again. Some people have. It's not impossible, but they will never do it again. For the most people will never do it again for the most part. These are successes, and they go away. You know that term. Janet Jackson said, "What have you done for me lately?" Well, what have you done lately? That success has come and gone. Have you stepped outside of your comfort zone? You know, on the photography, nationally on the photography circuit, I speak. I go around as a speaker. The challenge now becomes, can I speak outside of my comfort zone, outside of the industry? Can I be respected as a speaker? So guess what? I'm speaking at the High Five in February on the main stage. Are you elevating yourself out of your successes onto a progressive platform? That's the question that we should all be asking ourselves on a daily basis. I got to tell you, it's scary. I'll be the first one to tell you, it's scary. There's nothing wrong with being scary. There's nothing wrong with being fearful. You have all these egotistical people out here telling you that you shouldn't be fearful, that you shouldn't be scared. It's all BS at the end of the day. You have to be fearful. You have to be scared. That's where we draw the line in whatever we do, so that we can maintain our sanity and our peace, so that we know that we are reaching our limitation. You know what? Being fearful or scared is something like an emergency exit. It really is. But we have emergency exits in life so that when things get out of control, we have a way to escape. There's nothing wrong with retreat. Matter of fact, God forbid there's a war, but when you're fighting a war, you have the ability to retreat, to regroup. There's nothing wrong with that. People make it seem like, it's an honor to stand in a losing situation and lose. That's ridiculous. Once you realize you're losing, it's time to cut your losses. Now, how you do that is up to you. You can cut your losses in the moment and live for another day. It's that James Bond movie, Live for Another Day. That's real. So emergency exits are real. You know what? Backing away from a situation is real. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what? Table that ego. You know what? Know when you are losing, that you are not making progress, that you can walk away in peace. Look, we are conditioned in so many ways in this world, it's ridiculous. We live in a world of conditioning. And sometimes that conditioning is just, it works against us. And we have to start to see that. We have to start to understand how things sometimes are going to work against us. And success is oftentimes, the ideal of success works against us. Everybody wants it. And then they realize when they get there, this is it. There's nothing more. Matter of fact, I didn't journalize anything. I didn't write anything down. You ever hear that term? I got lucky. Oh, imagine that. I want to be like the person that got lucky. They don't know how they got there. They just got there. They're riding a wave, right? That's all they're doing. That's the person I want to be like. I don't. I never want to be like someone who says I got lucky. I want to be like the person that said, this was the plan that I laid out. This is the road that I traveled. And you know what? I want to be able to say that road looks good. I'm going to take the one next to it. I'm going to take the road around the corner. I'm going to take the road because I want to go to that mountaintop. Just last night, I was talking to my youngest son, and we were talking about spirituality and manhood and all of these things that, fathers and sons should talk about. And I brought up the example of Mount Everest and what that means and how symbolic it is to life. Not everybody can do it. Matter of fact, most of us will never climb Mount Everest because of the requirement that it takes to even be a climber. Now look, it's serious business out there. If you die, they leave you there. The air is thin. You need oxygen tanks. When you get past certain levels, there's a point of no return. You push forward. This is symbolic of life. This is symbolic of progress. Maybe you'll only climb to 15,000 feet and you have to turn around and go back. Does that make you a failure? Absolutely not. Most people will never see anything at 15,000 feet. This is the power. This is the power in progression. It leaves a bunch of success clues. Those clues are the reps that help you to develop a mindset that is resistant to any type of failure. Now, will you fail? Absolutely, you will fail. But you will become resistant to the ideal of living in failure. This is what success does for you. When you establish a bunch of little successes that lead up to a trail, onto a trail of progression, you will be successful. This, my friends, is what I call the end game. The end game. This is the mindset that you need for the end game. The end game, all that is knowing exactly what it is you want. It's not complicated at all. Don't think for a second that anything that I'm telling you is complicated. We all know what we want. You can walk up to somebody and say, "What do you want out of life?" They may pause, but it was like, "I want money." Well, that's the best they could probably define it. Yeah, it's a little bit deeper than just money. Some people might say, "I want happiness." Some people might say, "I want peace." Right? Whatever is important in the moment, that's what people generally want. But imagine knowing that your destination is based on some type of progression in your life. I want to help people overcome sadness. Maybe that's your progression in life. You're going to fight for that. I want to help people overcome debt. That's your progression in life. That is what's going to make you happy. I want to make imagery that impact people's lives so that they can live better lives. Guys, you are being bamboozled right now. Full disclosure, I am using the camera to bring us closer together, to bring better understanding to what we do as individuals and people. I am using my camera because if you have a camera and I have a camera, we can create a conversation. That was my end game. What's your end game? That's the homework I want to leave you with. What's your end game? What's your progression going to be as it relates to that end game? My name is Keith B. Dixon. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to this podcast. Whenever I see a subscriber, it is very exciting. Trust me, it is. One subscriber at a time, one person at a time. That's all I need. I will see you soon. You can follow me on all the social media channels, just at Keith B. Dixon. Everything is Keith B. Dixon. I will see you next time on this podcast. Peace.